Okay, so yes.
When you auditioned for Zack, how did they describe the character to you so that you could create a personality in your mind?
They showed me a picture. They said he was an evil mercenary who ran a crew. You know, like I said, hold on, the brain cells are not running right. I think the fact that he ran a crew and that he was an evil mercenary, that was the thing that spurred me on to read A Clockwork Orange, because that's who really Alex was not really a mercenary, but he was an evil villain who ran a crew. And I thought, boy, that's the guy. So that's pretty much how they explained it to me.
I did like the way that Zack was written had ever changed in like the years sequels based on the way that he portrayed Zack.
I think they wanted to introduce other characters. I think that they also, when you start a series, they have a certain idea, and as the series progresses, I think they had a lot more fun with Zartan toward the end of the series. Boy, we got to do some, and then all of a sudden he's got a family, he's got a sister and what? I thought I just had a reptile. What? Sister now? Pretty soon I was going to have a mother-in-law. I didn't know what was going on, but that was great, and that was fun. There was a lot of great interaction with Savannah.
What would he ever remember the brother anyway?
He never did. Go ahead.
When the series came to an end, was that how did all the voice actors think?
Like this. Deep depression. Call my therapist. Yeah, well, that's anything in show business. Occasionally, you will have a long run, but it's not something you ever get used to. This was, the people who've worked on series for forever and ever and ever, they're like, I think if you talk to somebody who's in The Simpsons, they just probably pinch themselves, because nobody thinks that a series is ever going to run for 20 years. And so 3 years for a cartoon series, that was pretty good. And I think that's what they wanted. They wanted that there's a certain number that they want for the episodes, that they can run it for a year. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh yeah, I want. Also, I was going to say, when you're working, is it like a bunch of guys in the room together, or just one or two?
Oh no, it was. There were 15 people at the studio, pretty much to do the show, and they ran it. So this was the first time that the animation was sent to Japan, and that it was animated to our voices. So there was this sort of international thing going on where the animation was in Japan and voices and voice actors and stories were American, and some of I don't know who did the storyboards, but I guess probably some of the Japanese animators did some of the storyboards. It was fabulous, and so we get the storyboards, and Wally Burr, who was the director, would walk us through like an old-time radio show. And that's what it would be. And it would be probably 8 mics in the room. Good guys on one side. And I'll tell you the story. But first of all, so I'm a rookie and they're going, and I'm going to paraphrase how they told us. They said, they handed me the script, and they said, "This is your first time doing a cartoon series?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, here's how you read a script. Nonsense, 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 my line, nonsense, my line, nonsense, nonsense, my line, nonsense, my." So they were, these guys were pretty funny, and so we all had a good time, and the co-commander would say something like, the line reading would be,
Now go! Get into the copter and the Cobra copter!
And an actor at the other end of the room would go, available at toy stores soon. And I just remember laughing a lot. You know, that's what I remember the most. And Chris was so amazing. And God rest his soul. You know, he has passed away, the Cobra commander, and he was so fantastic. Because we all never understood how he could do a session at that kind of intensity, and he's usually screaming because, you know, I'm not, you know, like, no, I'm not going to do it until I have the money. You know, yes, sir. No. You know, Martin Burkhart. No, I'm not doing it either. So one time, it's just like, and he's been going off, and of course, Wally's a perfectionist, and it's the third take, and I can't remember the line, but it's sort of like he's going.
You have to go and G.I. Joe is going to.
And then you hear the click from the inside the booth, you know, because it's the glass booth, and one of the directors leans in and goes, Chris, I think that's a piece of your lung on. So it was great. It was great. The guy who had, I think, probably the best voice is Frank Welker, and he was just. You know, whatever it was. We need a parrot. Yeah, Frank, we did. We need, whatever it is, some sort of machine, Frank. He was great. And Neil Ross, that was one of my favorite characters, which was, I'm going off on tangents now. I think Neil Ross is one of my favorite actors, and he did, what was it? It was a Shipwreck. And, you know, and that was it. Hey, you doing Shipwreck, you know, here's my bird, you know, and, you know, we would all kibitz each other, and we'd have a really good time. Just a really fun time. Go ahead.
G.I. Joe the movie turned out to be the end of the summer. We know there were plans for a third season, but were you guys contracted already for the third season? Because the Dreadnoughts had a big part in the movie. And I always wondered if that was supposed to be kind of a send-off, like the Dreadnoughts weren't going to continue on, or if maybe it was just kind of a surprise. Oh, the movie's done, sorry.
Well, you know, I don't want to say, you know, it's like, I don't want to say anything bad about, you know, whatever. But it was disappointing to me that they used the movie to introduce a whole bunch of new characters instead of, telling the story, you know, what was the first 5-part? And I can't think of the name of it because yes, if they would have made a movie like that, I think the G.I. Joe would have continued. And I think that they just, you know, they just could have upped the ante. But I love those 5-parters. I thought they were the Synthoid Conspiracy. I mean, I'm watching it recently, and I just thought, like, well, that still holds up.
Alright, so the movie acid trips, whatever. We don't know what acid but, like, were you happy with how big a part Zartan and all of the Dreadnoughts had? I mean, they were in there through the whole movie. I mean, like, they didn't. There were other Cobra characters. Destro practically got shafted compared to. You know, I mean, were you happy having that big of a part again? I mean, despite what way back in the morning. But, I mean,
You weren't right.
I don't remember.
maybe you got it wrong.
This is an intervention. I don't remember. You know, it's a job, but you know that's it. And as an actor, I have to be, when I saddle up, I have to be willing to support the directors and the writer's vision. So I've saddled up, I'm supporting whatever it is, I'm there. And that's it. And if they decide to change it or make it bigger, or, you know, because I'm sure the original, you know, cartoon was 4 hours long, so they had to like slice stuff out. I'm sure Arthur had a bigger part than you know, than what happened in the movie, but that's just what happened.
But, was there ever a time where you read a line in the script and said, this is not something Zartan would say, and you change it, or working a recommendation?
Have you met one of her? No. There might have been. There might have been. I thought the writing was really good on the show. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. How does it feel to know that you voiced a character who children who were born after the series ended are familiar with and like still have the toy? Like, it's an enduring.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I can't thank you guys enough for coming out. I just thank you so much. That's all I can say is thank you. It's we have, you know, something I had a lot of fun doing, something I have such fond memories, and you know, here it is, and you know, you think, wow, this is going to be so violent, but you know, those little parachutes, no one dies, and we used more TNT and gun bullets, no one dies. You know, it was, and so it does seem to endure, and a lot of it is very funny, a lot of it is very humorous, and you know, it's romantic, it's got all the elements to it, so shocked. And that I would be here with you guys today is just a pleasure. So thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, you never voiced the Joe, so you never got to do a knowing is half the battle PSA. What would a Zartan public service do?
Tables on the road.
Well, Johnny, if you don't brush your teeth, you'll get gingivitis. No! Knowing is half the battle.